Hello and welcome. This is Chris-Ann from Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann. And today we are going to be learning how to cut our own stencils. If you've seen some of my videos where I have some of my own stencils, I'm going to show you how did I cut these. Now we're going to be doing different designs than these, but I'm going to be walking you through my favorite products that I use as well. So the first thing you're going to need is an electric soldering iron. So this is one that can be a wood carving pen or an iron pen. And I did get this one on Amazon. I couldn't quite find the link, but it comes as a whole kit. And you get some, wood shapes that I haven't used yet, or you get some little stencils with it. You get a whole container of different tips to put on it, some gloves, a couple different things. It's for an artist. So it's the electric soldering iron manual. Here is all the information on this particular one. So maybe you could find it for yourself on Amazon since I wasn't able to locate it. The other thing that you're going to need, and this soldering iron comes with a cover, and it comes with a little stand, and it is adjustable right here as well. Don't ever touch the tip of a soldering iron. It is super, super hot. The next thing you're going to need is Mylar. Once again, I couldn't find the link to this on my Amazon account, but this is the one I use. There's 12 sheets. These are 12 by 12. And here's my biggest tip. Get the 10 mil Mylar. Don't get the 4.5 or the 7. Don't get the clear. I like this sort of opaque kind of one. It's a little bit thicker. I made a mistake and I got some of the thinner stuff not realizing what I was buying. And it was horrible, 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 horrible. So get this. Now the reason I like my 12 by 12s is if I'm using this on my gel plate is 9 by 12, then this is big enough for me to work on my gel plate. If I want to cut this up into smaller pieces, maybe I just want to create this, I use the positives as well as the negatives. I can cut this with my paper trimmer. Now, the other thing I do is I am working on my Tim Holtz Tonic Studio glass mat. You need to work on glass. Now, this is hot enough. I've let this heat up. I have a little wet sponge that comes with the holder, and you can see when it's hot enough, well, you hear it as well. So that's how you know. The other reason why I like carving on this mat is it has rulers on it. So I can say, gee, I want to create something that's this size. I can see right here, what is the size that I am carving? For today's purpose, I don't need to worry about that. I am planning on making some stencils that I can use within my cards. So I just simply press it down, and I'm going to be making some irregular diamond shapes. I do push the pen as well as pull the pen, not necessarily what you're supposed to do. Now watch. See that? I can pop it right out. Now, if I wanted to keep this, I could use that as a stencil too, but in this case, I'm just creating some repeating patterns, and maybe I shouldn't have quite done it right to the edge. Like that's kind of close to the edge. I'll probably have to mask that off with some tape or washi tape or something. Super simple, rather therapeutic. I do not have anything planned in mind. I kind of like to just wing it, and I like the irregularity that I get. I am not going for perfection. I say this all the time. Whoops. I'm not going for perfection. I'm going for artistry. I know my hand is in the way and it's kind of hard to see that. Sometimes these little pieces stick to the glass mat, and that's perfectly, perfectly fine as well. So let's just keep going here. You can see I'm just doing, oh, there you go. See, that one stuck, and that makes it easier to pull it off. And see, sometimes I get some of these little strings. There, it's gone. Heated it right up with my heat tool. So, you know, the other thing you can do is if you are using this for your own personal use, not something commercial, if there's a picture you want and you want to stencil your child's room, a friend and I used to do that for years. She wanted certain stencils within her child's room. We couldn't find them. We were stenciling her parents' house. We couldn't find the stencils that we wanted years and years and years ago. This is how we made our own stencils. So this is the other thing that I like about this. I am a professional artist. It's in my mind. But in reality, I sell my art. I sell the things that I create. Since I am using my own stencils that I create, since I am using my own stamps that I create, I do not have to worry about any copyright issue, any angel policy, none of it. I am 100% creating this myself. You see, I'm not following a template. I'm not following anything. I want it very random. If you wanted to follow a template, go ahead. You absolutely can. But if it's somebody else's artwork, please be really mindful of copyright issues. So because of that is why I love to create my own stencils. I'm doing a lot of bigger pieces of art. I'm creating some decks. I cannot have somebody else's artwork if I am claiming it's all mine, and I cannot claim that it's mine unless it's mine, and nor do I want to step on anybody else's toes. You know, if this is my project, it's my project. So think of that. If you're somebody like me that is selling your art, maybe you're just doing this and you're just having fun and you're creating gifts for family and friends, etc. I do shows. I used to have a shop. I actively sell my art. Sometimes I have to go around the edge just to get some of those little strings. There. Now look at it. See, let me get this other one out here. See how quick this is coming? Super, super, super quick. I don't pull the soldering iron super fast, because if I do, you see every once in a while I get these little dots. That doesn't come out when I'm doing my stenciling. And when I'm stenciling, I am stenciling with ink. So I have a whole set of stencils that I use for my ink, cards, journals, etc. And then I have a whole set of stencils that I use with my gel plate for paints, etc. See? When it sticks to the plate, I just use my nail and pop it off. But how cool is this for a super simple background on a card, or to add texture to a tag, etc. That's what I was talking about, but those don't show up, so it's okay. So sometimes it's better to go slower than faster. I'm not always the most patient person when I'm doing my art or cooking or other things. And if there's just a little edge that I missed, I just come right back in and I can clean it up. This can be a very, very relaxing project to do. And the thing I like about this is these stencils, when I'm using them, they're gonna last me forever. I just hung a dowel over my art space, and I have hooks with clips that I clip all my stencils right above my art space. I have a very compact space right now. I have an art studio, but I need to I'm in the process of redoing it. It needs to be completely redone. So right now I'm using a small temporary art space. So I like to have things within arm's reach. And a lot of times I'm doing my art at midnight. Once my son goes to bed, the day is done. I can finally sit and relax, not have to worry about the phone interrupting, etc. Super quick, and I like the irregularity. You see the irregularity in that one? I love it. That's what I like. To me, that's what shows that something is handmade. It's not perfect. It's not pristine. Nothing I create is perfect and pristine. And frankly, nothing in nature is perfect and pristine. So it's really kind of neat to just kind of play and have fun. Now, this type of stencil, I can see that I will probably ink blend with multiple colors, not just one. I am into doing a lot of my rainbow chakra backgrounds. So I will use at least 6 colors to create that. The base chakra being red, and then we work up into orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And the crown chakra being white, it's really hard to achieve that within a stencil if I'm using a white background paper. So I only do that when I'm doing either a black cardstock or craft cardstock. But the cardstock itself, if I'm using a white cardstock, represents the crown chakra. So that is a way that I would utilize this with my rainbow colors. If I rip this off kind of quick, these little guys will stick to the glass, which is what I like. And then I just, most of the time, I'm able to pop these off with my nails. Yeah. And I do like to get them out of the way so they're not getting caught to the bottom of this. So how simple is this? I would still create a couple more, and I would make it, I'm probably going to make it about that big. But I want to come down here and I want to do another shape down here. So I was saying that I like to use the positives as well as the negatives in my art. So what does that mean? It means I use what I'm carving out from my stencil, and it also means I'm using the outside of the stencil. And I can never, ever get a perfect heart, and that is perfectly fine. And they say not to push the pen, they say to pull it, but you know what? It has always worked for me. So, since I can never get a perfect heart, I never attempt to achieve a perfect heart. There. Now, this is going to be one stencil, and this is going to be another stencil, almost for masking, a masking stencil. So I'm getting sort of a 2-for-1 within this. Yeah, I'm working outside, so we're getting a lot of goodies out here. So let's create another one over here. Whoops. And I'm keeping this in mind of my card size that I use. I see that that didn't cut quite through. And it's going to be tricky with that little line there in the middle too. but that's okay, because a lot of times with this type, oh, that you can't even see. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that wasn't on camera. All right, this is what I'm doing so far. I don't watch my camera as I'm doing this because I'm working with a very hot utensil. So I do tend to pay attention to what I'm focused on for my work. Sorry that wasn't in the frame. Okay, now let's do the other side of the dragonfly. And we'll try and mirror it, and yet also keep in mind my card size that I work with. Once again, I am not going for perfection. And so this dragonfly, I'll be able to use the positive and the negative of this one as well to become 2 stencils. Does get a little taxing on your hands. I have hand problems. And I definitely need to rest after I'm done making a few of these guys. So just take care of good body health as well. There. So there's my dragonfly. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And I will make some other videos where we're actually using the stencils. See, that's what I was saying. This little line right here is gonna be a little tricky. And I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna clean that up. And even this little line right here, that's the line I'm talking about. It's gonna be tricky when I'm actually stenciling with it, but you know, as artists, we are used to doing what we need to do. There. So this is one stencil. This is another stencil. So these lines I just have to be mindful of, but not a problem, because look at how cool that is. So look at, in such a short amount of time, we've actually gotten 2 stencils here, 2 stencils here, and I'm going to do one. This will be 1 stencil up here, and I'm going to keep going here. But thank you so much for tuning in. So once again, get the 10 mil Mylar. I like working with that one better. I find it to be more stable to work with. It's not so flimsy. The thicker the Mylar, I think the better results you're going to have when it comes to your stenciling. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this gave you some great ideas. Be free.